What's going on, everybody? As always, I'm going to start this off by talking to the replay folks right away. What I'm going to be talking about tonight is adjusting the monitor, but really, it's about what you think you need to make your toy photography better. So make sure and leave that in the comments below. Money doesn't count. We could all use money to pick up some more cool gadgets, widgets, and backgrounds and diodes and figures and all that. So yeah, that just doesn't count. But if there's something else you can think of that you think, wow, if I just had this kind of thing, maybe that would help my photography get a little better. If you're not geeked about it, maybe you're just totally cool just standing up your figure, taking pictures with your cell phone and posting them, and that's totally cool. You do you. I'm very happy with that. But for anybody that really wants to start kind of moving along and trying to kick butt at toy photography and all that stuff, I just want to know, what is it that you think will help you the most? Now, for me, the stuff that I've been doing is I've been creating backgrounds, I've been creating effects, I've been creating recently some onomatopoeia, which if you don't know what that is, it's basically words that represent sound effects like pow or bam, or the first one I made was snick, that sort of deal. So yeah, effects, backgrounds, onomatopoeia, whatever else I can think of. I've done smoke and sand and muzzle flashes, all that good stuff to try and help out people. But here's the thing, not everybody has some kind of photo editing thing like Photoshop. And that's something that I'm able to create a lot of that stuff with and for. So when I find out, okay, people don't have tons of Photoshop, what are the photo editing apps and programs that they use? So let me know those things as well, because if I can figure those out, then maybe I can learn those and make some freebies for those kinds of applications as well. So that's where I'm at. That's what tonight's live stream is all about. That's where the fun's at for yours truly anyway. Woo! Also, it's kind of warm. I'm going to do a little bit of this. Don't worry. Clearly, it's a t-shirt. So we're good with that. I'm good with that. Hopefully, you're good with that. I feel better. So yeah, the things that I'm planning on doing right now are working on a new free action figure photography guide. The first one I made is kind of a starter kit. It's more of the stuff that you need or that I think you could use, like putty, which is kind of a weird one, but yeah, you know, you could use some putty. Camera, obvious, tripod, smartphone, those kinds of things to just kind of help your stuff, help set it off a little bit more. Putty has like a zillion uses. If you need to, you can balance your camera with it. You can balance your figures with it. There's all kinds of good stuff you can do with that. But yeah, that was kind of the first go action figure photography guide, and it's still out there. And if you've signed up for the newsletter, you know what it is. You've got it. But one thing I want to do is make a really comprehensive action figure photo guide and just make sure that the word's out there so people can get a hold of it. I want to do this for all the collectors out there. I want to do it for the families that may be, you know, trying to find things to do with their kids. Like, okay, what can we do that doesn't cost a ton of money? What can we do that isn't going to Disney World? And for a lot of people, they can just bust out their smartphone, which costs them nothing, I mean, except what they're paying their service provider. And chances are the kid's got some toys. So if they have these steps and some kind of something to help them figure out how to take the shots, or just play with it in whatever mode they've got on their phone, I think I'd like to reach those people because I think it could be massively helpful. It would give them something to fire off their imaginations as well as their kids. For instance, check this out, okay? Hold on, here we go. The kids at the store, they're sitting there begging for a toy, and you realize, wait a sec, I know all about this toy photography thing, and you just buy a little Hot Wheel because it's not insanely pricey, and it's usually like hanging out somewhere by the register. You head home, you start taking pictures with the kid. The kid might be like, okay, this is kind of fun, this is cool. that sort of deal. So yeah, there's those people, there's you guys, there's just basic pop culture enthusiasts. I just want this to get out there because I have a blast with it. I think a lot of you have a blast with it. And I just think it's something that would be a lot of fun for a whole lot of people that might not even really consider it a thing so much. So let's see, what else do we have that I can talk about? The idea here is basically just having a blast, just teaching people how to have fun with this stuff. And I don't know what else. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to make some of that happen. I know for me, 3D printing will end up being something that I do in the future. Probably not printing to sell. It'll probably be I'll learn how to do the 3D printing, but then I'll just give away the files because I don't want to do with shipping and inventory and all that stuff. So it's probably just going to be another freebie where you can do that. And all the freebies that you get along the way, if you decide you really want to start getting a little crazy with the whole photography thing, what you're going to be able to do is go to the Toy Pics website. And what I'm going to do on there is really curate. Like I'll get on eBay and Etsy and all the major toy websites, Amazon, all that. And I'm going to go through and say, this dio is pretty sweet. Let's put that on the page so they could order that. Or this dio is pretty sweet. Let's put that on the page. So I'm kind of going to curate a little bit of kind of stuff so that you guys don't have to look all over the internet to try and find whatever it is you're looking for when it comes to, say, dios or footage or weapons or figures, all that. I'm really going to try and keep it on the site. And I think that it's going to be something that we're all going to be able to enjoy quite a bit. But right now, the goal for me is to get the new book written. And that's going to take a while because I'm trying to run all this stuff at once. Probably what I'm going to try to run at once is writing the book and building the website. Because if the book gets done and the website's not done, then I'll just have to hold on to the book and not release it right away because it's not going to help. You're not going to be able to click over to the website, see what's going on there, and look around in case you want to get more stuff that's crazy and cool and all that good stuff. So I'm saying stuff a lot. I'm a little thrown off. But I am yawning, so that's good. Maybe. I don't know. Let's see. Robert Online. Hey, big guy. What's going on, man? Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. You got anything that you want to know about figure photography? Anything that you could use that I might be able to make for you? Because I wouldn't say I'm at a loss, but right now I'm doing backgrounds. I'm doing automatopoeia. I'm doing effects, things like that. I'm doing some graphic type stuff. So I'm trying to just put that out there so people can grab it and go and get to playing. Or even more so, what is an editing app or program that you use? And if you don't, that's cool. I'm curious. I want to know. I want to make sure that I cover all these things so that anybody can really get into this and have fun with it. So that's why I'm asking. That's why I know things. Digital diarrhea. What's up? Hey, all. Let's see. Yep. That's right. I'm okay with digital diarrhea. Although I don't know how that would really work. Asking you as well, man. What photo editing software do you use, if you use any at all? Because again, I'm trying to figure out everything that I've used. My whole everything is basically Adobe products. So I use a lot of Photoshop. And the freebies I construct with Photoshop in mind. And I know there's a lot of people that don't just use Photoshop. And so I just want to know what else is out there that's big enough that a lot of people use. That's where I'm at. Just trying to figure things out, letting people know what's going on. Pushing buttons it's much harder than you would think. Let's see, GIMP is good photo editing with people with a $0 budget. I wondered if people still used GIMP. I tried playing with GIMP once and I got frustrated because I couldn't even learn how to crop. But if GIMP is something that enough people get on and say, man, I'm trying to use GIMP, I'm doing all this, then I will absolutely create some stuff for it. Do you use GIMP? Because one of the questions I'd have is I make effects with black backgrounds because in Photoshop, you can set the layer to screen and the black disappears on the background, just leaving the effect. And so I'm curious if GIMP has something like that so that I can tell people, hey guys, this is on Photoshop or GIMP. But yeah, these are all the questions, all the things I'm trying to figure out for everybody. Robert, I'm mainly a 1.6 guy, but I am getting into Mayfix SHF. I always want backgrounds, dioramas, the backdrops, what I need. Let's see, a sky for Superman, jungle for Predator Tarzan, or jungle for Predator Tarzan, Rambo, etc. Got it. I'm trying to think if I've got a jungle scene. You know what? I don't have any kind of sky scene, but if you haven't been to the Toy Pics Patreon page, and don't worry, you can just go there and you can download whatever for free. I kind of lost track of all the backgrounds I made. One of the guys that sometimes pops into the chat, Rexship, he got a hold of me a while back and said, dude, I have 50 of your backgrounds, and I had no idea I'd made that many. So I'm not sure. I feel like I've done some jungle ones. So if you feel like it, go to the Toy Pics Patreon, start looking through the backgrounds and everything else. And if you see one that suits you, download it. Again, truly, it is all absolutely free. I'm keeping it there at this point on Patreon and Dropbox because as I build the site, a lot of images, especially a lot of high-res images and things like that, will really bog down the site. And that's not something that I want. So I find that while people can spend money on Patreon and it's appreciated, I'm not going to ask you to do that because I just want this accessible to everybody, basically. And so that's why that's over there. That's why it's on Dropbox and everything else is I just don't want it to bog down the site. That would be no fun at all. Digital diary. Let's see. I'm a novice at best and couldn't answer that. That's okay, man. I appreciate the candor. So would it be helpful for you, say then, if I showed more tutorials on smartphone photography? Because one of the things I'm really playing with a lot right now is portrait mode. And I don't know when that came into effect with iPhones, but from what I understand, Android has had it for quite a while. But I know I've got an iPhone 13 Pro, I think. I say I know, and then I say I think. And last I looked, I think I'm running the iOS 17.1.2, and it's got a portrait mode, which makes it so that when you're editing the photo, you can adjust the blur in the background, which I think is really cool. And you can also, if you miss the focus by just a little bit, you can change where the focus is at. So maybe smartphone type stuff would be helpful. Let's see. I just need to learn what to use my EOS 17 because I can't take good pictures with it yet. Or is that T7? Okay. Look at me. Here I am getting cocky and not wearing the glasses. EOS T, that might be a new one. I have an EOS 20D. I started using it in 2006, which probably means it was in 2005. So you probably got something that works pretty well. There's a lot of settings on things right now that I'm trying to figure out. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure it's got color balance and color settings. Like even the one that I have, you can adjust hue and saturation in the settings and all kinds of crazy stuff. And that thing's coming up on 20 years old. So I'm sure what you can do with that thing is insane. Let's push more buttons. Let's see. Alas, just joined your Patreon today. Hey, man, I appreciate that. So look around if there's anything that can help you. And if you don't find something that can help you out, make sure you get a hold of me. I'm on, let's see, where's the best place to get a hold of me? I've got the Twitter, I've got the Instagram. Either of those, I've got to get better at answering the Instagram, but that's one of the goals. So I'm going to get on that. So yeah, have a look around, see what's up. Mr. Online, how about a Boba Fett apparition? Someone had a Boba Fett throne with a ghostly Django behind him. That'd be kind of cool. Like just photoshops. You know, that would be, how would that work? How could I do that? That would be kind of sweet. I could try maybe some ghostly characters in the background. Like that would also work for something like The Last Ronin or pretty much any Force Ghosts too. Ooh, that's an idea. I kind of like that. All right, I'm in. So much thinking. I'm in a Jango Fett apparition. That's all right. That's all right. Gotcha. But now that you said that, I'm like, oh man, there's a lot of apparitions that we can load up with. Mr. McDysentery. Anybody remember that show, Small Wonder? I'm the only one? Okay. No. I too remember this show, Small Wonder. Vaguely. She was a robot, right? What was her name? I feel like I should remember. Was it Vicky? Is that right? I don't know. I do vaguely remember that one. Mr. Online, I saw Star Wars collection with a 1/6 Boba Fett on throne with Django in the background. He was trying to get a ghost feel. It took, let's see, it looks good with Django back and Boba Fett on throne. Okay, all right. I wonder, yeah, it would be kind of crazy because it would be recreating basically the inside of Jabba's palace and then have, or was it, yeah, because it would have to be the throne that he was using in, I guess now, Boba Fett's palace. So yeah, you'd have to read the background, and then you'd have to put the Django ghost in there somehow. Or maybe what it is just create the file for the Django ghost. But again, like I could create that for people that maybe are using Photoshop and possibly GIMP, if GIMP has that same thing, and then put the black background in there and have the apparition. But if you're not using Photoshop or GIMP or other apps like that, I'm not sure it would work out. So I'll have to mess with that. But I really like the idea of messing with ghosts. That's kind of different. It's something I wouldn't have thought of. Let's see. Yeah, there is some absolutely wild 1/6 Star Wars stuff. I need to look at more of that. I'm not a 1/6 collector, but I definitely need to just look and see kind of, because you know with Hot Toys and all those, a lot of those shots look really high end. And sometimes with the smaller stuff, the shots themselves, the marketing shots, product shots, they just don't look quite as insane. So maybe honestly looking at some of those 1/6 scale figure shots, maybe that would give me some ideas as well. Sorry. I love how I never quite figure out exactly how the laptop should be here. It's my lots in life, since we're talking Star Wars there. Yay, 3PO. Oh my goodness, I've missed this thing 3 times. All right. See, I'd love to see Django giving advice to Bobo. What are you doing, stupid? You're a bounty hunter, not a crime lord. You know what? I don't mind Boba as a crime lord as long as he acts like a crime lord. He seemed like, I guess, a benevolent crime lord, and I feel like Boba would be the guy that would have the iron grip on town. So yeah, I'd be good with that, and having the the bounty hunter experience leading into being a crime lord, I would think that's kind of invaluable. But yeah, we too much benevolence. Boba's a malevolent character. I just don't see the Tuscans changing him that much, but I could be wrong. Space one, let's see, was it Hot Toys that had the 5-foot long Mando ship? That thing was insane. I don't remember seeing a Mando ship. Was it Hot Toys that had, somebody had just a giant Millennium Falcon at one of the shows way back when? And that would be insane. That's a background I could work on, is trying to get some kind of Millennium Falcon thing going on. And since I don't technically charge for this stuff, I wouldn't be all that upset about throwing something in there. Yeah, technically. Since I don't actually charge for any of this, then the mouse couldn't come after me. In theory, they'd probably still try and find a way. Ah! So many buttons. See, I personally only do 1/12 now, which makes large dioramas hard for me space-wise. It is tricky. Like me, I've been looking at the Musk. Like I actually saved up. I'm gonna get the Musk. That's just gonna happen. But it's huge. Like it's what is it? I think each section, I think it's gonna be basically a 4 foot wide dio. And it's gonna be awesome. I'm gonna love messing with it. But that is going to be a space killer. Hopefully, it comes so that I can take it apart a little bit and store it somewhere else. Because I think my drawing table, where I usually set up all the shots that I shoot, I think it's only like 30 inches wide or maybe 40 inches wide. Either way, definitely not 4 feet. So we'll have to see. But yeah, man, it does make it tricky. So I've been thinking of like less pricey alternatives. You can do extreme sets as well. That's not so bad. But one of the things that I learned that's really cool for dios that isn't insanely pricey and you can fit them in like a drawer so they might not be too crazy space wise are if you go to the store and you go in the aquarium section, like, go to a Walmart, a Target, wherever they have fish, basically, or lizards or whatever. And you can find this stuff on Amazon as well. You'll find foliage or things that are supposed to be foliage, kind of plastic looking deals that you can use in these shots. I've got like a big tree kind of thing that's just totally a plastic tree. And then I've got some bushes and some logs they made. And they're not crazy pretty. Like I think I have a log that's maybe 4 inches wide or so, and it looks real. I mean, it looks really good. Maybe it was $8 or $10, something like that. So it's weird, but you can find a lot of this kind of stuff in the aquarium section of whatever store you go to. You might just even walk into a pet store, whether you have a pet. I think that would be helpful. It's certainly been helpful for me. Mr. Online, are you gonna let's see, Cad Bane pants you? What? No, not at all. Cad Bane is bad people. But yeah, boba, boba. So much thinking. Let's see. Shut up. Oh, Django's so angry at poor Boba. Oh, Django should have a Force Ghost. That'd be interesting. Yeah, it's Hot Toys. That let's see, the 1/6 scale N1 Starfighter thing is massive. Yeah, I bet it is. I was trying to work out how long it would be if they did it for Black Series, and I think it would be pretty much 3 feet even. But truly, if they made that, there aren't that many dream projects left, or what HasLab called dream projects that I would think, man, I really want this. But if they somehow pieced out a Millennium Falcon and maybe the N1 Starfighter, and I just say maybe because I'd have to see how it looked. The Falcon is the only ship, in my estimation, throughout the entirety of sci-fi, even though Star Wars, you can technically say maybe isn't sci-fi, that seems to have a personality all its own. And so I've always loved that ship. And yeah, so I would definitely try and part that together, piece that together. And the end, when they busted that out on Mando, I thought that thing looked sweet. Or I guess the first time was Book of Boba Fett. I thought that was a very cool ship. Let's see, ever heard of that? Muskew said, yeah, look up Ramen Toys. It's RAMEN and Toys. And it's what does it stand for? Something like Modular Underground Sewer Command, I think. But yeah, it's basically an acronym. So it's M period, U period, S period, K period. But yeah, definitely check out Ramen Toys. He's going to have pictures, or there are pictures of it on Instagram, for instance. And I think it's IG_Ramen Toys. So yeah, look at that thing. It's pretty awesome. And it's going to be, for the one I'm looking at, there's different levels, different kinds you can get. But for the one I'm looking at, it's 4 feet wide, $300, but that's not that bad compared to a lot of other stuff that's selling for a lot of money lately. So it's just kind of up to you. If you want to try it, give it a shot, you have the cash to spend. It's basically two sewer dioramas. If you saw the NECA sewer diorama that they just came out with, it's basically two of those side by side and then a street scene above. Not as tall as the NECA street scene diorama, but yeah, that's something. It's something that I think is really cool because it'll handle any turtle or any other sewer like underground shots that I want to take, and it'll take care of a lot of street scene too. And it's made specifically for 1/12 scale figures. So it should work out pretty well. And I say that it could be 1/12, 1/10, but either way, you'd be pretty good. But yeah, man, that thing's awesome. I need it in my life. Mandalore Express, greetings from Texas. We enjoyed the conversation with Fatalorian so much. Thank you, Mandalore. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it as well. Those guys are always awesome to chat with. It's a blast. I need to figure out, I don't know how I could get everybody, like I would start bringing guests onto these live streams, but I don't know if I could get everybody onto one. That would just mess me up. So I got to figure that out. I might get a hold of him and find out what's going on with everybody else and see what's up. But I appreciate that, man. You want to go all out? Do Thanos going through the vortex cloud. Huh. That would be kind of fun if people have the MCU figures. I don't know. See, what I've been trying to do with the backgrounds is keep them fairly general. Not because I'm afraid of anybody coming after me, because again, it's all free. So they're not going to be able to say, you're making money, blah, 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 and you sold this specifically. And that's not the deal. I mean, the Patreon's more like donations if people want to do that, right? But I want to keep it general so all kinds of different types of figures can use. So that's what I've been doing. But the more I make of those, the more into specifics I can get. I really am still digging that ghost idea. Like just a bunch of ghosts in the background. I think that would be a lot of fun. Let's see. I've seen people use cotton and smart lights to create storm clouds. Yeah, I've seen a lot of cotton that's been used. I gotta figure out. I don't know. I've got to figure out what kind of tutorials to make, where they should go. Should they be typed up? Should they be videos? That kind of thing. I need to add more tutorials to the YouTube page, so I'll probably end up doing that a little bit. That'll be a big deal. Maybe. Spaded one. There's a reveal video from about a year ago on YouTube. I'll do it to you on Insta to check out later. Appreciate it. The reveal video was I'm assuming the N1. Yeah, I would love to see that. Can't do it. Won't get it. But they do incredible stuff. I can never say Hot Toys sucks. Let's see. Oli Goma, what's up, man? Hey Dave, how you doing? What do you think about the new Angel figure, Marvel Legends? Will you buy it? I will not buy it. I think it looks really good if it's standing there. But only one thing that drives me crazy in action figures are waist cuts. And I feel like these days, it's all like, I know that with SH Figuarts, I haven't been able to find the information dating back to 2008 when SH Figuarts started. But I know in 2011, they were using ball peg waists. So now in 2024, I feel like if action figures aren't using ball peg waists, at least ones that collectors dig, if they're not using ball peg waists, it's like having cars without tires. So it just drives me crazy because it's hard when you twist a figure like this, then they leave that flat spot, and it's really tough to photograph. That said, I think that Angel looks great, and if it had a ball peg waist, I would totally buy it. Because it does look good. I love the way that they engineered the wings on it. Woo! Pushing buttons. Digital diarrhea. I do have a few of the extreme cardboard sets, but you can always tell they're just cardboard. It does get tricky. I shot a picture of Zog tonight and posted him on, I don't know, pretty much everywhere. And I'm using the Extreme Sets Asylum diorama in it. And I put a bunch of, like, you almost have to put a bunch of stuff in there as well, because then you kind of lose the fact that it's cardboard maybe, and maybe it's the way I lit it as well, because it doesn't really look like cardboard. One of the things that can help you when shooting so that it doesn't look like that so much is to try and blur that background. So set the f-stop to a lower number instead of a higher number. And yeah, like that helps, so that most anything, you can't necessarily tell what's going on in the background, but you definitely can't tell what whatever's made out of. But yeah, I know what you mean, because sometimes you get a weird shine on it from the lights instead of something that's actually three-dimensional. Mr. Online, the only cardboards I wanted was for my NECA aliens. Was that an Extreme Sets one? And I totally need a big chap NECA alien. Yep, that's where I'm at. that's what I got going. All right. Sir Dork is a guest. He does great ones. Yeah, he does. I love the stuff that he does outside. I might need to talk to him, see if he'd be willing to come on. He's got a larger following than yours truly, so I don't know. You know, generally you don't want to have, or I don't want to be like, hey, you want to come on here? Because then I feel like it's sort of, hey, I'm trying to get clouds or whatever. But I don't actually feel that way, so we'll see. I just kind of know how other people would probably take it. And I'm sure he'd be cool. He seems really cool in the videos I've seen. Harry, I'm thinking about getting a handheld smoke machine. What do you think of them? You know, I don't know. I haven't looked into them. I want to know what kind of the chemicals are that are in the smoke machines. Because one thing I want to be careful of is I don't want to do anything that's going to deteriorate my figures or kind of peel some paint. And I'm sure it wouldn't do that for just a few uses, but what would it do over the long haul? So that's something that I want to mess with. Also, I'm indoors and my balcony's not very big, so a smoke machine might be a bad idea for me. I've been looking more at like the fog machines, maybe that use sort of water, but then there's also chemicals in there. I just want to be careful I'm not deteriorating my figures. Aside from that, if you look and everything looks cool, then game on. But that's one reason, like I have the atmosphere aerosol that people bring up, and I used it way back when, but then I was looking online and trying to get all the information I could about it, like what's this do to the figures long term, and I couldn't find anything about that. So I'm a little more hesitant to use it on my stuff, especially when stuff's getting as pricey as it is. When they were $20 figures for, say, a Marvel Legend, it didn't bother me all that much. So I guess that's the only thing that I'd say. I haven't looked into a smoke machine specifically. You might look at it and say, all's good here chemically. As far as I'm concerned, if all's good chemically, I think you probably get a great effect out of those. The Millennium Falcon in Lightspeed Vortex. You know, that's something that I could do. You could do the light beam thing for when they jump into hyperspace. That'd be kind of fun. And that would cover a whole lot of ships. Let's see. Mafex and SH Figuarts really suck when they first started, but they really stepped up their game starting when they did their, let's see, Hush Superman. Became a fan after that. Their Hush Superman, dude. I became a fan with the Hush Batman, and I haven't looked back since. That Batman is the definitive Batman for me. That Superman is the definitive Superman for me. Oftentimes when I buy a Mafex figure, I know they're pricier than Legends and all that stuff, but when I buy a Mafex figure, I feel like I never have to get another version of this character, or another version of the character in that suit. For instance, Batman, we've got the fall suit coming out soon with the capsule belt, and I might need to get that. I don't know. We'll see. But I never need another Hush suit, and if I get that, I'll never need another Nightfall suit. There aren't really that many looks that Batman's had that feel like they lasted a long time. So there's only a few more Batman could possibly ever need. So we'll see. We'll see when it comes to that. But yeah, man, I buy a Mafex figure and I'm like, I never need another of this version from anyone ever again. I don't have to piecemeal a Magneto or a Wolverine. See, became SH Figure Arts. Let's see, when Mando Luke came out, man, I have the Mando Luke. That head sculpt is amazing, and I keep hearing how great the Indiana Jones is. I have to get that. I have to get that one. Today, when I don't know anywhere near enough about photography to make extreme sets look like anything other than cardboard. I've seen folks make them look great, though. It's just, I think that what you can do is maybe not hit them so hard with light so that you're hitting the character a little more with light. Kind of let the extreme sets maybe be a little darker in the background, maybe pull them away from that. Oftentimes what people do is they put a character too close to, say, the wall. So you have a cardboard wall there and the character's maybe that far away, and it's almost impossible to get enough blur between the character and the wall to really separate the two. So one of the cool things you can do is take the figure and move them out just like 6 or 7 inches, really focus on the figure, use a lower number aperture, shoot the shot, and then in the background, what happens with extreme sets or with any dio is it gets good and blurry and you really can't tell what's going on. So I'd recommend that maybe. Don't hit the walls harshly light and pull your figures away from the wall and really focus on them so that you blur the background. And then most anything, I mean, you could probably make the Musk look basically the same as what you could do with extreme sets, and the Musk is going to be totally sculpted just by blurring the background some. And I think it's a good trick that I think a lot of people just don't know about. So yeah, just pull those figures away, don't light those walls, and see what happens. Mr. Online, yeah, more smoke, cough. Not enough smoke, more, need more. Oh no, oh no. Yeah, smoke will do that. My dad used to smoke. It wasn't that bad growing up. I was just used to it. But these days, I'm like, oh man, I walk through near a cloud and I'm just going, I can't do this. Harry, let's see. It is based on the e-cigs. See, I don't know. I just don't know enough. I don't know enough about what the chemical makeup is on all those things. I know, like, some people have said the e-cigarettes are pretty much as addictive as just regular cigarettes. But is it that they're addictive because of what's in them, or is it that they're addictive because people are kind of addicted to the action of smoking? I'm just not sure, and I don't know what's going on in there. Like, is it something inside them that makes them eat? Anyway, I'm talking above my pay grade when it comes to e-cigs, but that might be something I'll look into to try and figure out what I think about smoke machines. Let's see, the smoke looked good with black and white werewolf. I bet it would. Ooh, ooh. Yeah. You know what else you can do to make smoke, guys? You can get cotton and, just like I was saying, pull the figure away from the wall to really be able to blur the wall so you can't tell if it's cardboard or whatever it is. You can take cotton and bring it out way in front of the figure is, and that way, and like have the lens really close to the cotton and take the picture, and the cotton will just look like haze. Right, if it's really close to the lens, and then push it a little more towards the figure, and the more and more you push it towards the figure, the more it'll look like smoke. But if it gets too close to the figure, it's going to look like cotton. So there's a fine balance there. And it's tricky stuff. It can be tricky. One of the problems that I have with a lot of diodes, even extreme sets, is they're not wide enough to really get you the effect that you need for this stuff. Like, ideally, you could take the cotton, like the character, you don't just have smoke in front of a character. The smoke would probably be all around, right? So ideally, you could put some cotton in the background where you're going to blur the background anyway, so it would look kind of like smoke. And then you'd have cotton way in the foreground where that'll be blurred and look smoke. And then your character somewhere like right between the two. But sometimes you'll have like the width of the dio, you'll end up seeing the edges outside of that. So it kind of doesn't work unless you're cool with just squeezing the edges in it might work at that point. So yeah, it's tough to do. I mean, it's not tough to do. It's just having the room to do it and having a wide enough diode to do it. That's why I'm so stoked about the Musk, is because of how wide it is. Well, one of the reasons I'm so stoked about the Musk. Mandalore. Let's see, in a light box, what's your fave color as a background? Most people get to white. It depends on the figure. So recently, I've shot some Chester Cheetah pictures because I love Chester Cheetah. That figure is awesome. One of the things that I look at sometimes when I'm shooting is complementary colors. And the complement to orange is blue. So what I've been doing is putting the blue backdrop in for shooting Chester Cheetah. And if I got a yellow figure, I might put in a purple backdrop or make those adjustments. It just depends on what's going on, what I feel like. I would say the vast majority of the time I stick to white. If you've got a bunch of figures together, sometimes it's hard to really match a good complementary color. So at that point, it's safe to use black or white. But where's the fun in safe? But yeah, oftentimes I would use black or white in many instances just because it's easy to edit with Photoshop. But overall, yeah, it really just depends on what the figure looks like, what color the figure is. Woo. Must have pushed the buttons. See, Godzilla will look good in photos. You know what? I've been looking. I still need to see -1, and I really want to see that. I just don't know anybody that's stoked about going to see it. So it might just be me, or hopefully it comes out on Prime. It might not even still be in theaters. But yesterday, I was looking up the Super 7 Godzilla -1 because I'm like, if I really want to do pop culture stuff, everybody says this is the best Godzilla movie ever. This is probably Godzilla I should get. So we shall see. I do want to get into everything pop culture. I want a Goku. I want a Godzilla. I want a RoboCop. You know, I want all that stuff. So we'll just have to find out which one I end up going with once Toy Pick starts crushing it. Mr. Online, what's the best smoke they use with toy train, or what's that smoke they use with toy trains? I don't know, to be perfectly honest. It could be atmosphere aerosol. I know a lot of times for atmosphere aerosol to work really well, you want to hit it kind of not crazy harsh, but you want to make sure there's a pretty good light source coming in because that really shows it off pretty well. I don't know. I'm wondering if somehow what they do is maybe paint some cotton gray, but I'm trying to think if I've even seen a picture of that. Like, I'm so stuck in the 1/12 action realm, and I never really got into toy trains that I have no idea. I think this brings up a good point, though. Like, you guys brought up hot toys. I can look at those and maybe get ideas from those. You're bringing up trains. Maybe I should look at some train photos and see what they do, just to find out what's up, see what everybody else is doing out there. That would be fun. Spaded one. See, dang, Extreme Set should do a kaiju set and just make it some boxes printed up like buildings. I really think folks could have a field day with some easy buildings. Man, that would be ridiculous. You know what line has some little buildings is 30 Minutes Missions. It's called 30 Minutes Missions, and it's 30. So you click on that, you look them up. I think BBTS has them, and I think you can find some on Amazon. I don't know if Entertainment Earth does. I'm sure you can find them at like Gundam type stores and all that, Gundam type shops. But they are little buildings that you can get with 30 minutes missions. I don't know if like the figures come with them or you buy them separately. And they're just like gray plastic, but you can paint them up and make them look really cool. And I don't know what scale. I don't know what scale the 30 minutes missions are supposed to be. I'm thinking 1/4, like, or 1 to 1/44. So I'm not sure. And I don't know what scale Godzilla should be for all that stuff. But yeah, check out 30 minutes missions. Find those. They've got buildings. That might be helpful. And they're not crazy expensive because they're model kits. But yeah, you're right. Extreme Sets could have like just a background, or maybe that's something where I come up with like a sky background with just a few buildings, And for the foreground, you could use those 30 minutes missions buildings, because I've thought about that. I think that'd be super fun. Robert Online, let's see. Oh, sorry about that. Saran wrap to stimulate a freezing ice or a freeze icing people. Let's see, or Mr. Freeze icing people. Yep, Saran wrap. That's a good plan. I think that's sweet. I also have been thinking about aluminum foil a lot. Right? I've been thinking about aluminum foil a lot. I haven't been thinking about it a lot, but I've been thinking a lot of people maybe don't have a reflector, have no inclination to buy a reflector to use in photography. But what most people have may be, well, I would guess it's aluminum foil, and they could wrap that around something and use that as a reflector. So you'd have a light here, have the aluminum foil wrapped around whatever here, and the figure may be in the middle of them, and the light hits the figure, then the light bounces off the aluminum foil and hits the figure from the back, and the aluminum foil is super shiny, so it gives the figure a lot of shine. That's the kind of stuff you could use for like Gundam or Transformers, some kind of robots, or if you're playing with Hot Wheels. So yeah, I was thinking about that lately. But saran wrap as like a freeze effect would be really cool. That's where I'm not very good. Like I can come up with effects and what this might do and that might do, put this in your image, try to see what that does. But I'm not good at thinking of like saran wrap for icing people. You know, I wouldn't have thought of that. Like I said, all I thought of was aluminum foil to be used as a reflector. And I'm sure there's probably, like you could probably use aluminum foil and maybe a little bit of cotton, maybe a little bit of saran wrap or something to make it look like somebody's on an icy pond. But that's just stuff I don't think of. I need to get better at thinking along those lines, getting a little more imaginative with that stuff. Harry, see, what would you have for shooting with a TV monitor? Oh, like as far as setting up the TV monitor in the background? I would say, and let me know if that's wrong, but I'm assuming you're not carrying around like a 70-inch monitor so you can take pictures with it. The main tip would probably be make sure that you have a figure out far enough from it, because you don't want just tons of light. Basically, you want a figure out in front of it so you can light the figure without the light hitting the monitor, because then you're just going to get some weird reflections. So make sure pull the figure out quite a bit, light them up however you want. One thing I've been trying to figure out is how to make flooring, because something that really kind of drives me crazy when I'm using the backgrounds that I put together is there's no ground that looks right for those backgrounds. And at the same time, for me to do that, I'd have to print them up, print them on something sturdy and put them down. So I'm trying to figure that out, because that's the one thing that when it comes to the backgrounds drives me crazy. And using a monitor or using anything else, you're not going to see the feet on the ground very well unless you Liefeld it and cover their feet with a lot of stuff that you put in the foreground, and then the monitor could be the entire background. So that might be the solution there. But yeah, I'd like to find a way to figure out how to do flooring that's easier than printing every single one, but I'm just not sure there is a way. And if that didn't answer your question, let me know and I'll see what I can do. 1.6 shooter uses smoke. Okay, and he's got some pretty pricey stuff. So it might just fine. I just don't know. Like I say, I'm worried about long-term effects to the figures, and maybe he doesn't need to be, or maybe he knows it works perfectly well. I'm just not sure. I need a Godzilla and an Ultraman to do a fight scene. Ooh, bully. Which, let's see. I know that you're into fancy stuff, as am I. They're doing, I think Mafex has made Ultraman. I'm trying to think if SHF has. And I'm trying to think, I wish I knew what scale is an Ultraman that you're thinking of that could fight over a city? I'd want those scales to match. And I'd probably want to come close to 1 to 144 with Godzilla and Ultraman. Man, yeah, these are a lot of things I'm thinking about now. I generally try and stick with 112, but if you're going to get a Godzilla, you need, like, you can't do a 112 scale Godzilla. That thing would still be massive. So I'd have to figure that out for myself too. And Ultraman, he's kind of one of those pop culture type things. I might need to load up on him too. Robert Online. Let's see. I have some NECA Godzilla. Really wish. Let's see. They made the old 60s King Kong. Too bad never made him. That's somebody else I need to load up on is King Kong. See, that's something I have to figure out because obviously you need Godzilla and King Kong and probably Ultraman. So for me, because I'm sick like this, even though you can use photo tricks to make it work, I want to figure out, okay, which ones all go together so it could come up with a perfect setup. That's the kind of thing. That's where my sick head is. But yeah, that is a shame that they never got around to the old school stuff. But I know enough about it, so I guess it's a shame. It's a shame for you. For me, I'm totally cool with it. That's not nice. That's a bad day. Why would I say that? Let's see. Saran wrap good, making Spider-Man string webs. I've thought about that too. Is what kind of string webbing could I come up with? I didn't think of saran wrap. And I mean, to be honest, for me, enough people are making webs now, kind of McFarlane style, that I haven't really even worried about it too much. I kind of figure, well, in the future, I'll just go out there and get some webs. So that's where I'm stuck, is trying to figure all that stuff out. But yeah, that's me just sitting here going, got to come up with better stuff, got to come up with better ideas. And I'm not so great at that. Spaded one. I picked up a NECA Kong recently on clearance, and it came with a 60s style head. Close enough. There you go, Mr. Online. See what you got there. Maybe that'll work for you. Ooh. Skew Raider. Nice to see you, man. It's been a bit. Happy New Year, y'all. Internet issues tonight. I will catch the replay for the first part. Awesome stream, watching from now, from now through the end. Connection willing. Awesome, man. I appreciate you stopping by. It's good to see you again. If you have any questions on the photo stuff or anything you can come up with that would benefit you that I could create, let me know. I'm taking all comers. I'm trying to figure out what I can do to help the people. Gunstar, what's up, man? As a cheap option, I will use scrapbook paper from a hobby store as flooring. Hobby Lobby has a ton of variations like sand and brick, to name a couple. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Scrapbook paper. I wouldn't have thought of that. Cool beans, everybody. So, okay, I was sitting here talking about flooring, and Gunstar comes in and says, what's up, guys? Here's what you do. So if you have the same problems when it comes to that, just check this right here, because the man knows what's up. I'm definitely going to look at scrapbook paper just because I haven't thought of that. But yeah, I didn't think for whatever reason about the fact that Hobby Lobby has all that stuff. And it's probably because I don't have a Hobby Lobby by me. There is a Michael's that's fairly close, though, so that could be something I can check out. Appreciate the heads up, man. That's awesome. Trying to push buttons. Robert, do some Planet Apes photos with Homer. What? This is me just not knowing my things. But Planet Apes, Homer, photos with Homer Simpson, I'm assuming you're talking about. That would be kind of funny. I like the idea of like an ultra realistic, like a Planet of the Apes, maybe NECA style figure, and a cartoony looking Homer Simpson. That kind of stuff cracks me up. Let's see, Skew Raider. Let's see, we'll do photo day. Thanks. Awesome, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate any suggestions. Just got to figure things out. I want to help as many of you as I can with this stuff. Hiya Toys makes some great Godzilla and other kaiju. I did not know that. Awesome. All right, guys. Hiya Toys for all the kaiju. Do you know what scale, Harry? I'm just not sure. It would be, if I want, like I say, I need a Godzilla, I need a King Kong, and I just need to try and scale, at least scale those kinds of guys together. Even if maybe Ultraman doesn't get scaled perfectly with them, I do want to scale King Kong and Godzilla. But it might be that Godzilla is way too huge because, you know, dinosaur. Spaded one. That King Kong is basically a gorilla for my Joes to deal with. He fits in well enough with Timber and Fiona, Mummy Mikey came with a bendy scale Cobra 2, regular zoo over here. I got the Mummy Mikey, and I just haven't done anything with the Cobra yet. And I totally need to because G.I. Joe, like that thing would be perfect there. So yeah, that would be something really cool. You guys always, I like the idea. See, this is what I'm talking about. I can come up with so much, but getting a lot of other people's feedback and trying to figure out what else is going on, what maybe you guys know that I don't know. I love figuring all this stuff out just so it makes me more valuable to all of you, so I can make enough stuff that you can actually use. That's a big deal to me. Mr. Online, Ewoks attacking Cobra Commander? Think I wouldn't? I would totally do that. And then maybe the holiday Ewok would give him a present. And that present would be a Porg, because does anybody really want a Porg? That's not nice, Dave. Stop picking on the sequel trilogy. Okay, Dave. That's me being two Daves. Gunstar, oh yeah. Michael's is good too. Okay, sweet. Yeah, because I've got one maybe 5 or 6 miles away, but it's 5 or 6 highway miles, so it's not like I'm having to drive through a bunch of stoplights through a town. Skew Raider, let's see, Dr. Zayas, classic parody song. Oh dear. See, these are, guys, I'm a bad nerd. I'm basically a photographer that digs action figures, apparently. I mean, I have my stuff that I know, but I don't know my Dr. Zayas. Is Dr. Zayas? This is awful. I've never actually seen a King Kong or Godzilla movie. I take that back. I saw the King Kong that had Jack Black way back when. So, Dr. Zayas, help me out, because I'm awful and don't know things. Yeah. This is this is me just being like, derp, derp. I have a derp. Trying to see what else is going on with everybody. How's everybody doing? Has anybody gotten some good pictures, something that they really are proud of so far this year? Or just some good figures? These are questions that definitely demand answers. Skew Raider, Simpsons skit short but hilarious. No worries. Awesome, awesome. It's been a long time since I watched The Simpsons. I was thinking about that the other day. I used to watch The Simpsons and South Park religiously. And after 3 or 4 years of each one, I just stopped. I think I just got too busy. Might be things I need to look back into, though. I keep seeing things about both those franchises that seem relatively hilarious. Let's see. How about a sequel photo with Family Guy and Chicken? That would be, I mean, let's see. Sequel photo, so like a Star Wars sequels with Family Guy and Chicken. You got to tell me about the chicken. Is the chicken on Family Guy? Because again, Family Guy was one of those that I saw for the first few years and just stopped. Oh, I am bad. I am bad at this. Clearly, I need to watch more stuff. And dead air, that drives me crazy. Let's see. Made fun of Rock Me Amadeus. I did kind of get there, but I didn't get all the way there. So thank you, man. Spaded one. I'd love to see NECA do some kind of random accessory set. All the figures come tons of different accessories like eating utensils, tools, decorations, and critters. Too expensive to buy them all. Man, I know. One thing that I'm looking forward to is the Mirage line. If they go as crazy with Mirage as they have with the Toon line, then I bet we get a bunch of all those kinds of things. Books, whatever else. Books. I came up with books. That's it, guys. Turtles only do books. Although the Mirage ones, they don't do pizza. It would be interesting if they came with beer, I have to say. But anyway, yeah. That's something, because I've been looking at a lot of NECA a lot more recently. I never used to get them. And it was to the point where somebody commented on one of my things a year or two ago saying, this list is invalid. There's no NECA. And at the time, I'm like, well, I just don't have NECA. Now I've got 10 NECA figures. They're all turtles. And I'm looking at them going, why did it take me so long to pick up some NECA? Besides the fact that I'm a bit of an articulation snob. But even now, they're starting to move in the correct direction when it comes to articulation. So who knows? Who knows the way my brain works? It confuses me half the time. Mr. Online, I'm still traumatized with Paris Hilton and Mr. Slade. What? These see things I don't know again. But Paris Hilton is a very traumatizing individual. That's not true. I've actually seen things with her recently. She actually seems to be a pretty intelligent person. It's kind of awesome. Let's see, how about some photos of Ed209 and endoskeletons? That would be fun. That would be fun, but would it be helpful to you guys? Like, here's a question. Would something like I posted the picture of Zog tonight, and I was like, how is this helpful to anybody? It's just me taking a picture of Zog and putting it up there. Is this actually serving anybody? And when I thought about it, I'm not sure it is. So maybe what would be more helpful is the picture of Zog, and then accompanying it to be a video of the setup and the lights I used and all those things to take the shot. Like, if it's on Twitter, I can't go into all the Photoshop detail because it's just going to have to be a shorter video just because of the nature of Twitter. But I could show the setup and what I'm doing and how I'm not hitting the walls really hard on an extreme sets kind of thing, for instance, or how I'm making sure that it's blurry. But would that be something that you guys would find helpful? Something where I post the picture, but I also post the setup to get to the picture and maybe talk a little bit about the camera settings as well. Because no, I truly want the stuff that I post to be helpful to everybody. Spaded One. I've had to talk myself out of buying NECA figures because all I wanted was a copper bag of chips in the box. You know what you need to do? Truly, go buy Chester Cheetah if you don't have him yet. He comes with a bag of Cheetos. So I'm going to end up using those Cheetos with a lot of stuff. And Chester Cheetah himself is just an incredible figure. Like, he doesn't look like he would be, but he made number 2 on my top 10 figures under 50 bucks. Like, I love that figure. It's amazing. So you wouldn't waste money by buying the figure, and you get a bag of Cheetos. And I've been using the bag of Cheetos for, let's see, He-Man and Skeletor have both used the bag of Cheetos so far. But there's going to be, it'll show up in other places. Probably a little more serious. Or not, because they're a bag of Cheetos. See, as an MMA fan, I can't see the name 209 and not think, Stockton, what? This is me not knowing things again. I feel like I should watch some MMA. I don't know why, but there's something about that sport that seems, there's a respect about that sport that I don't think is in a lot of other sports. And I think even though, you're beating the crap out of each other, there's a respect enough to be like, you know what, okay, time to back off. Somebody taps out, it's cool. It's just, when I hear people that are actual MMA fighters and all this stuff, it just sounds like, as hardcore as they are, it seems like a respectable sport or a respectful sport. Anyway, I don't know what I'm saying. Harry, let's see. Do the shoot it live so we can ask questions. Okay. I could try that. That'd be a good live stream. I'm trying to think of how I could set up the camera, because it would be something where basically this would probably be, the laptop would probably be pointed at it while I was setting it up. That could be helpful. I appreciate it. I think I could make that work. It might be a bit, but I think I could make it work. A lot of this is dependent on Toy Picks making all the monies. See, I see all these Rockstar NECA figures, and all I want is the instruments. I really don't need a Van Halen action figure. But don't you? Really? I don't know. You know what's helpful, actually? Super Action Stuff recently came out with a set that's just a bunch of stuff. Like, I think there's an arcade. There's like an arcade cabinet. I don't remember what the name is. I think it's got guitars. So look up Super Action Stuff, because not only all that, but they're not crazy pricey, and they come up with a ton of accessories. So it might help satiate the need to buy NECA for accessories. SH Figure Arts, or I'm sorry, Toshi Nations, which I know they're both Bandai as far as I know, has rocks, has effects, has lightning. So I look at SHF quite a bit, and I look at Super Action stuff quite a bit. And then, of course, there's all the Valaverse guns, and then getting on Etsy and eBay and seeing who's selling what. So you might be okay, and you might end up with a lot of really cool stuff without paying the NECA prices. Not that NECA's not pretty. See, not much into Chester. Love to get a grub. The crime dog. I wonder who would make that. I know June was talking about, he had an interview with Beebs. June guy is the lead designer at Jada for the figures. And he said, I don't know how we ended up being this company, but we can expect 1 or 2 food mascots a year. So that's really cool. But he didn't say anything about a McGruff. And I'm wondering, has NECA ever really, aside from the Van Halen, like Eddie or what, have they ever done kind of a mascot for something? I don't know. Like that would be a different kind of mascot. It's not like it's a food mascot or anything like that. It's like a public safety mascot. Has anybody ever done one of those? Now that I say that, I think I had a McGruff something way back when. Gunstar. My Chester Cheetah will arrive tomorrow. Have a feeling many toys will be on my 2024 favorites. Man, okay, so spoiler to anybody who hasn't seen my list of the top 10 under 50. Every Jada gear I got is on that list. So, like, I counted Ryu, like my Evil Ryu is on the list, and I showed the regular Ryu as well because they're just a repaint. It's just I liked, for photography, I think Evil Ryu is a better figure, and he came with a lot more stuff, all that stuff. But truly, like, if it's Jada, it's on that list. Like, they are the company to beat. And I'm to this point where I'm like, if it's Jada, I just want to buy it. I just want it. Like, sight unseen. I barely care about Street Fighter. I remember playing Street Fighter, but the figures are so amazing. I got to load up. I may have played Mega Man once or twice in my life, but you can bet I'll be adding some Mega Man figures to my collection as well. And whatever else they want to pump out, is they're killing it, and they're killing it at a crazy good price point. And it's crazy, like, you stand a Ryu up next to a bunch of other figures in the $25 range, and the only line that really holds a candle, I think you can say Valaverse is in this because their stuff is now more 20 to 30. But the only like main line that you're going to find in Target and all that holds a candle is Classified. Every other line that's around 25 bucks, Jada just smokes them all. It's really cool considering they just came out, and yet everybody wants to give everybody else a pass. Well, you know, they haven't been doing it very long. I'm like, guys, Jada's been doing this for a little over a year, and they knock it all out. MMA fighters are a trip. Let's see, sport is more full of college graduates as it is high school dropouts. Some real characters in that sport. That would be kind of fun. I might check that out. And I know what you're talking about when it comes to all that, too. College graduates versus high school. When you're watching, like, interviews after a game. Going, oh, dear. Let's see. NECA Cool Cat. What? Oh, dear. Cool Cat, Cool Cat. I don't know things. Mr. Medicine. I regret passing on the Evil Ryu. Also, I couldn't get the Mirage Turtles, but I got the Best Action IDW Turtles. What did you think of those? Because I've been looking at those. Somebody made the point. I can't remember who it was. It was somebody on YouTube. It might have been Wade on Unparalleled. I just can't remember. They made the point that, hey, man, for years, NECA's been crushing it in the Turtles space, but Best Action, with how much they're improving, they could pass them. So NECA's got to be careful. And I think those IDW ones look really good, so we'll see. Also, I'm going to check out, I'll be inside of town where there's a post office tomorrow, so I'll be checking all that stuff. I can't find pricing online, but it's one of those things I want toy pics to pay for. But yeah, let me know what you think of those best action figures. Must push buttons. See, McGruff. That's Ronald McDonald. He's a clown. Let's put him in Slammer. Help take a bite of crime. That's Alf. He steals, eats cats. Help take a bite out of crap. Wow. So basically, McGruff is just the guy that's going to take all the fun off your shelves. That's a terrible figure. McGruff. Bad dog. I don't know where that was going when I spoke there. Let's see. McGruff looks like somebody does have that. He does have that trench coat look, and he's got the hands in the pockets all the time. If I'm remembering correctly, it always looks like he's going to come across somebody and be like, "Huh, Mr. Manson." I like them. The SDCC had a nice wash, but they are the best action they've made so far. Okay. Yeah, a lot of the earlier ones, people were having trouble with them. I don't know if they were breaking or just coming apart when they were trying to articulate them. And so they weren't that great out the gate, but it seems like they made pretty fast improvements. So I'm tempted to just try, maybe pick one up and see what happens. But yeah, that'd be cool. Those meshed with NECA stuff. Ooh, I don't know, man. Like, it's a crazy time to be a Turtles fan. And I'm not even like crazy into them yet. And already I'm sitting here going, man, it looks like the Last Ronin figures scale with the Mouse figures, which scale with the Archie Comics figures. Do I need all the comics figures? No, I don't. Do I want all the comics figures? Yes, I do. I might need an intervention. That would be maybe the way to go. And also, Mr. Manson, I think they seem to keep releasing those Turtles, the 4-pack. You might have another shot at those. I mean, I don't, obviously I know nothing when it comes to any kind of inside anything, but the 4-pack, I think you could do it. But I get what you're saying about Evil Ryu. I'm not sure, like, he came back up, and I posted when he came back up for people to get him, but if you weren't there, he probably sold out pretty much right away. I was lucky that I pre-ordered him. But yeah, now last time I looked, his prices were like $80 or something, and that sucks because he was 40 plus tax and shipping before. Smokey Bear and Woodsy Owl. It's been forever since I thought about Woodsy. Is Woodsy, okay, I know Smokey the Bear. Is Woodsy the Tootsie Roll Owl, or like the Tootsie Bites, Tootsie Pops? That's what they are. Is that the Tootsie Pops Owl? Because they totally need Tootsie Pops Owl. Harry, the only best action I have is the cartoon Beetlejuice. What do you think? What do you think of the cartoon Beetlejuice? Is he good? That is horribly offensive. I should never try to do an Irish accent. Mr. Manson, your audio video isn't good tonight. That sucks. Because I moved from where I was before, where everybody was saying it was rough. Let's see here. And I'm directly into the wall. I know that Xfinity is supposed to be doing some work around here in the next couple days. Hopefully that whatever the problem is sorted out, because it didn't used to be like this. And it's making me want to kick a thing. I don't know. Video dropped? Are you still, anybody still here? Not good, not good. All right, guys. Well, if I'm having that kind of video problem, I guess I should get out of here. So, yeah, if you even hear this, I suppose thanks everybody for coming to check it out. Hopefully you got something out of it with the photography stuff, and hopefully I'll be able to make stuff to help everybody out here in the future. So until next time, have fun. Happy snapping. See ya. And now I make awkward face when I hit end stream. Try it again, end stream again.